basically, this is it comes off Labour's employment rights bill, and essentially what it will do, one of the clauses will extend harassment to third parties. So what that means is that if you're employed by a pub, for instance, or by recreational place, a customer could technically be harassing you if they express certain views that go against your protected or a person's protected characteristics under the Equality Act. So it could lead to this absurd situation where pubs have to employ banter bouncers to know whether customers are having appropriate conversations. And it's a nightmare for the pubs because on the one hand, it could shut down expression about, particularly around the trans issue people have talked about or around racial issues. But on the other hand, we all know that gender critical beliefs, for instance, are protected. So they could also get sued potentially for shutting down those beliefs or for allowing those beliefs.
That's brilliant.
So they're in a bit of a tricky position there. But but Starmer wants to kill the pub, I think is the...
Well, I always wonder if it's... Remember that guy went nuts when Starmer was in his pub?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get out of my pub.
Yeah. I always
interviewed
wonder...
him on Spiked.
Did you?
Tracked him down.
Okay. I always wonder whether it's revenge for that. Like the smoking ban has already decimated pubs. So maybe he's just trying to, finish them off. Yeah. Because if you can't talk in a pub, then, you'll have a nation of stay-at-home alcoholics.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It did feel like that was almost the way things were going culturally before it became a legal discussion. Because remember when Jerry Sadowitz got shut down at the Edinburgh Fringe, that was because members of staff, the kind of Edinburgh students who spend the summer at the festival punching tickets, took offence to his material.
Yeah.
I think the same thing happened with Terry Gilliam when what was his Into the Woods production got shut down.
The Old Vic.
Because members of staff took offence to it, and because even without an existing legal structure or incentive, the management just rolled over. So it seems like this was coming down the pipe already, informally, if not formally, I guess.
Yeah, and all the members I saw a photograph of all the members of staff of the Old Vic who cancelled Terry Gilliam, and all I can tell you is exactly what you would expect. It's just hilarious. But yeah, I mean there has been a kind of veto that these young workers have had over the last few years, and it will be good. I remember when people were bursting into tears because Jordan Peterson was being published.
Yeah.
Just don't hire those people anymore.
Yeah.
Hire people who like books, hire people who like ideas and the free exchange of them, Don't have a contract that says if you complain about any show, we'll fire you. Have another team lined up. These are unfortunately you have to have practical solutions or that what happened to Jerry Sadowitz was a disgrace, and here's an interesting thing about the Sadowitz thing. Well, Stuart Lee wrote a glowing endorsement once of Jerry Sadowitz, but he didn't say a word when Sadowitz was cancelled because the right people were cancelling him, I guess. But also another hypocrisy of that moment was one of the charges against Sadowitz was that he took his penis out and showed it to a member of the audience. A few days later, Jordan Gray, I think, won an award for slapping his penis on a piano. So it's very, very clear. Again, this thing of if you identify as trans, you can be exactly the same as Jerry Sadowitz, who is a white man, a white heterosexual man, and do the exact same thing and yet not get into trouble.
But be less funny, of course.
Much less funny.